this brings up a really interesting discussion, and this is going to be a big topic at GDC, which is scalability. As you saw, the LillyPAD Lounge is the utmost of quality. It was designed that way, um, and it is the upper bounds of what we'll be able to do from the standpoint of photorealism, interactivity, um, and package deployment, which means all the data that gets to your computer. And one of the biggest questions I get is, how are we going to scale this to the next world, into a big world? So what you're seeing right now is the first kind of photorealistic or surrealistic rendering of what the metaverse will look like, may look like at the photoreal stage. But we do have, we've got trees, wrestling in the wind. We can see back into the distance, that it's an expansive universe. We've got a cool little like Eichler style dwelling in here, which for sake of time we did not build out the inside, so that the glass is opaque, and I'm sure there's something awesome going on inside, but we can't see. We've got shadows and some god rays and some amazing textures. This is really kind of the upper bounds of some of the rendering styles that we are going to be tackling. However, as the complexity of the world grows, as we have more people come on to the platform, and we need to build out a world that's bigger than most standard AAA studio MMOs right now, 39 or so square miles of space. Don't quote me on that. It's just something that we're planning for. We need to make sure that all of this fits in memory and fits into the world. So this is the level that we would go to if you wanted to load it up on your WebGL browser to show your friends, to kind of curate your house, maybe hang some stuff or walk around. However, the balance that we follow here is that with WebGL you get streaming issues where photoreal objects may take a lot longer to download, or you have to download them every single time. Or if you have a packaged content, you have a 12 to 20 gig download all at once. So we're trying to use both technologies to enable the metaverse, so that if you were to use the WebGL browser, you would get a certain experience in a certain world. We have to acknowledge that this is amazing, and that when we scale the world out, that not the entire world can't look like this with our handful of development peeps, and the memory requirements and processing requirements of all you frogs out there.
So again, the main focus here is to have an experience that is very easy for anyone to be able to hop into.
Yeah.
Effectively, we have a native client, which is the Dragonfly Social Club, that many of you have already downloaded and started playing. But for people to be able to hop in and check out their LillyPad, of which this is very much a concept towards what we'll be delivering as your landed, as your LillyPad itself, this gives you a good idea for what can be done inside a browser. And so you won't necessarily need to download a big, thick client for your LillyPad experience. You should be able to provide a link. And if those remember, we actually alluded to this some time ago with our partnership with Unstoppable Domain, by providing each and every member a Notorious Frog nickname.nft. This could be a great way to be able to invite people into your LillyPad by simply tying that into your plot of land. So you wouldn't necessarily need to get anyone to download anything. You can simply provide them a link that lets them jump in and do some very cool stuff inside your personal space as we continue to build it out. And we feel this best of both worlds of having the incredibly polished experience that we have in the Dragonfly Social Club as the communal center with the gamified elements, as a really polished experience. And then on the flip side, having a WebGL experience that's immediate to get into, that instant gratification, we feel is a really, really fun way to be able to get people to jump in and start exploring the land, check out your NFTs, and do all of the fun gaming mechanics that we're going to be building into the land itself. Sorry, back
Yeah,
over to you, sir.
great. Thanks for jumping in there. There were some tadpoles that burst into my room here. It is Sunday afternoon, nice and warm afternoon, and tadpoles love to just barge their. Um, yeah. So I think Snoop definitely touched upon, like, we want your Dragonfly experience to be top notch. I'm sorry, your LillyPAD experience to be top notch, very much like the Dragonfly. But when we get into the larger scale of the world, and some of the ideas that we're kicking around, maybe if you could load up the next one, Snoop, we can jump into how the world may change. Now, Bugs and I are highly inspired by Ghibli, Studio Ghibli. In fact, I watched one last night just to kind of get my juices running again. Now, there are portions of the world will, for both technical and aesthetic reasons, change. And this is one of the particular types of art styles we are exploring, and you will see among Frogland, which is a more painterly look. Um, and with any kind of lighting and tone, you know, this has bright, warm colors. It's obviously either sunrise or sunset and golden hour, as we say in the movie biz. Um, However, this can be just as equally dark toned, scary, and Slender Man as we want to make it. This is just a particular style of rendering for this time of day. But as you can see, we still are retaining the details, but what we're dialing back on are the heavy textures and some of the items that make in-game rendering and real-time rendering burdensome for any number of computers that our frogs may be running on. So this is a balance that we have to strike, and that you need to know that photorealism will show up in certain places, and more artistic style, crafted universes like this will also show up. Um, and it's largely more of a technical and it's a device fragmentation issue, that not all computers can run what we want. Um, but we're going to find that line, and then we're going to experiment with different areas, zones, and worlds within Frogland and the greater New Pangea as we scale this out. And because this is a build it as we design it with your feedback in mind, we're going to be listening, watching, um, building out a lot of our internal development suite of tools to monitor the way people are playing and using this, so we can best deliver the quality and the experience to you. Uh, we'll be sending out a tweet storm on this shortly, basically tweeting out a few of these screenshots and describing how this is a fully integrated experience, and it's not just walking around having fun, but there's a lot of tech that needs to be built onto it. And that will explain some of this unevenness that is intentional, and that we are intentionally are artistically driving as we build the tech stack on this.
And I think it's a great thing to mention here, because, of course, we do have partners. And once Frogland has been built and released, we will be working on some of the partner districts as well. And I'm sure many of you have noticed the art style that we have for the Notorious Frogs, which is absolutely impeccable, is not necessarily the same art style that other projects have been following. So to be able to have a variety of different designs that would be able to work, that would be more in line with the aesthetics of other partner projects, we feel it's quite a valuable thing to be able to effectively make sure we've done our own research to find out what is achievable and what is desirable by not only our community, but at a later point in time by the communities of our partner districts as well that will be entering the New Pangea. So again, it's exciting. We've certainly mentioned a few partners, and we'll be talking a little bit more on future town halls about what's happening next with them. But of course, first and foremost, our main focus is making Frogland the best it can be, making sure it's as accessible to as many people as it can be, and of course, having the fun gamified elements and all of the other fun stuff that we haven't even revealed yet that will be nice little surprises at a later point in time.